Tonight on Debate Amongst Friends, we will be discussing the NFL Week 4 recap, a little NBA preseason action, followed by some WWE updates starting now.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen of the internet. This is Debates Among Friends, live on Mixlr. Like us on our Facebook page at Debates Among Friends, and our Twitter handle at Debates Among Friends as well. Tonight is the 22nd edition of this podcast. I am known as the Professor John Gotti, and always by my side, we have the Broken Doctor. Doctor, how you doing tonight?
Well, I'm not broken anymore. I thought we killed that particular phrase because they're not broken anymore. They won the tag team title, so we have to drop that. So I guess I'm just
the doctor. Oh, thank goodness. I mean, people, I was trying to convince the doctor for about 3 weeks that he was not broken, and he saw the light. He's seen the signs.
I mean, I still want to call you Professor Nero.
Oh boy.
Brother Professor Nero.
We're going to segue away from that, go straight into our first subject. We got ourselves a packed show tonight. Week 4 concluded. We have Week 5 starting tomorrow. Week 4 of the NFL. Any big games that really caught your eye? Because the only one that I could think of...
Yeah. Which one are you thinking about? I'm probably thinking of the same thing here because there's only one that's complete. Well, no, two. Hit me with yours because, I mean, I'm sure we're thinking about that one together.
Go for it. The mic is yours, sir.
I'm going to say that Panthers versus Falcons game where Julio Jones put up 300 yards.
Julio Jones.
Record for the Falcons. Not
Matt
NFL
Ryan.
record, but Falcons record.
Julio Jones and Matt Ryan had the best fantasy outing.
And can I just tell you, Professor, that I picked up Matt Ryan in one of my I play DraftKings. I don't play FanDuel. I play DraftKings.
Shout out to DraftKings.
Oh yeah. And I picked up Matt Ryan in one of my teams. I play the small games, either the free ones or the quarter ones, because I like my money to last. I don't really go for the big wins. I mean, some of the prizes are 1,000, 1,500, whatever. But I usually play 25 cents at a time. I don't really play the big ones. And I had Matt Ryan in one game, and then I had that bum Matthew Stafford and the other,
but
who
Matthew
did
Stafford's
nothing.
Always been like that, though.
No. Matthew Stafford was very reliable.
Well, why was he reliable, though?
Megatron.
Okay, that's what I was going to say.
Hold on, let me tell you. The only reason I picked him is because the last couple of weeks, they had started slow, and then all of a sudden he would come out throwing like 3 or 4 touchdowns in the second half, and it would just be amazing. He would have like 30, 40 points, and I would be so mad that I didn't draft him. This week I said, you know what? Let me pick him. Let's see. I had Matt Ryan in another one, so I said, let me choose Matthew Stafford so I can switch up my receivers and running backs. And he just bombed. It was so terrible. But what was your pick for the game that really stood out to you?
I mean, other than that one, that Steelers game.
The Steelers game? I mean, I'm not going to lie. You're surprising me there. Do you even know where I thought you were going to go?
Where? If you say the Cowboys, it's not happening.
No. I thought you were going to go Buffalo versus New England with them getting the 0.
Well, we're going to talk about that one.
Oh, my God. But I thought you were going there, but...
Not yet.
It was so funny because somebody posted a video about the Steelers game, how... I guess it was like a video where one person slapped another one and then ran, and then that person thought it was somebody else and went and slapped that person. But they put the Eagles' face on the first person. They put the Eagles on the person that slapped the Steelers, and then when the Steelers turned around, they slapped the Chiefs.
Yes.
So it was actually pretty hilarious. But they definitely needed that rude awakening.
But it was such a But that's quite the anecdote, though, when you think about it. I mean, the Steelers literally has one of the best offensive games in the league.
Well, you
One
got
of
to
the
keep
best.
in mind. You got to keep in mind that Le'Veon Bell didn't play
He
versus the
didn't,
Eagles.
but yet they were still a very good team, even going back to last year when Le'Veon Bell was out due to suspension.
I mean, they were okay. I wouldn't say they
Like,
were great. There, the Steelers offense, the Steelers game. I've always liked the Steelers. If I wasn't a Bucks fan, I probably would be a Ravens fan first, and then maybe a
I was
Steelers
gonna say
fan
the
after that.
Panthers fan because how many times you put that Cam Newton picture all the time?
Well, that's just a Cam face. I mean, I just think it's so funny
It's,
because
it's the
that
happy
towel.
Cam and
Yeah,
the sad
that
Cam.
ride or die towel that he always wears. It's like win or lose, that towel has his back, almost like a binky, almost.
That towel's
But
the real MVP.
the
But moving
real
on.
MVP. But the Steelers and the Ravens, those hard nosed defensive teams, that like the Bengals are coming up in that division.
Yep.
Like those hard fighting teams, like I like their grit, and I wish that the teams like the Buccaneers, like the Browns, you see it somewhat with the Jaguars, like these teams that are just
Well, the
not.
Jaguars won it though.
I mean,
Granted,
I'm
that
talking about,
Indianapolis team's been
yeah,
disappointing the past 3 seasons.
which is another thing we should talk about with that Indianapolis team. But I'm just saying that a lot of these teams don't have that grit,
Yes.
that toughness about them, and that's the thing I always questioned about Tampa. And I was hoping that this particular regime would bring some grit to it, but I mean, we just don't have that. Hey, we're going to punch you in the mouth and dare you to come back and swing at us. And the Steelers and some of these other teams have them, and that's so unbelievable
I
that they
mean,
got
but
back
let's
like
think
that.
about it real quick though. I mean, how many teams have legit, you know, first, second, and third receivers that can hit home runs on you?
Well, it depends because certain teams have great receivers. Um, I don't know if the Steelers have great one, two, three receivers. I think they have some pretty good. I mean, they obviously have Antonio Brown, who's outstanding, very fast.
Absolutely.
Um,
Fast
you know,
don't lie.
yeah, speed definitely doesn't lie. But those other two, three guys are both number two, number three slot receivers, and they're hit or miss.
Yep.
They even said it in DraftKings, and I was reading some of the analysis. They're all hit or miss, so it's kind of like you might catch them with a good game, you might not. It's just the tail of the tape, kind of. You kind of just, you win some, you lose some.
Yep.
But the the real thing is Big Ben getting them the football. Like that's the person that I would put my money on, Ben.
Mm-hmm.
But they really, they have been,
Hey, he
and
helped me win fantasy last year.
he did, but they have been, and they always will be a running team.
Absolutely.
And that's where Le'Veon Bell and D'Angelo Williams comes in, who really held his own when Le'Veon was out. And I did have D'Angelo one game.
But here's the craziest part, though. They can keep D'Angelo Williams as the actual tailback, and they can make Le'Veon Bell play a receiver. Like, that's ridiculous.
I mean, they can. Le'Veon is just a great player. I mean, I haven't seen him split out.
He's one of the best all-around offensive players in the league.
I haven't seen him split out to wide receiver myself, but I'm sure he could. But he's such a great runner.
He did it on Sunday.
But then again, and that goes back to the conversation we had, months ago about these offensive lines that are being built. And it's like that Cowboys offensive line, and that's why we gave so much flack
to Dak.
So back to J5 when he came on the show.
Absolutely.
Because
shout out to J5.
Yeah,
he's out there traveling.
That's cool. You got to do what you got to do. But we gave Easy E, we'll say, Zeke, so much flack because he wasn't running and hitting the holes. But against the 49ers, obviously they were opening the holes up more, much more for him. But I really expect him to come in and really.
It was like Moses parting the Red Seas. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I really expected him to come in and look similar to Le'Veon Bell. Not so much the finesse, but I expected him to hit the hole and kind of keep going.
Absolutely.
And that's what we kind of saw on Sunday with the Dallas Cowboys versus the 49ers. But back to
But
those
that's enough
offensive
about the Cowboys.
lines,
Let's keep
though.
going somewhere else.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Back to the offensive line. The Steelers have a great offensive line
They do.
that can move the pile. There are some teams like the Patriots do a really good job at shuffling their guys around. Even when they lose
Yes.
somebody, they find somebody to plug back in. And I
Well,
think
it's not
you
even
know,
just their line that's so well. It's just their scheming with their line that they
well,
excel at the most.
but it's like to be able to find because you got to have talent to find guys that can fit in your system, and these guys do a
Absolutely.
great job at finding talent. The Ravens do a great job at finding talent. The Panthers have a pretty solid offensive line this year. Cam is going to get beat up. I really don't know what the heck is going on with that offensive line this year, but I can see that the offensive line play is definitely needs to improve in order for a lot of these teams to succeed.
Yes.
Now, speaking of succeeding, before we get into our next pinpoint, you mentioned the Indianapolis Colts. How crazy is it that a quarterback that went number one and a quarterback that went number two in
Mm-hmm.
that particular draft? I would have to go back and look at what draft year that was. Andrew Luck and Robert Griffin III do not look like
Top two picks.
two picks. It's like Andrew Luck has regressed so much already, and it's not just because of the injuries. It's like it's his skills. It's just it's something about it. He's just not working. Obviously, we know what's going on with RG3, but
Oh,
what
that
in
was
the
a 2012 draft.
2012? I mean, who was number three in that draft?
Number three was. As soon as it decides to load up for me. Thank you. Uh, First of all, shout outs to Wikipedia. They do a great job. There
I'm
we
just
go.
curious who number three was.
It's your boy.
Oh my God,
One of your
Trent
all-time
Richardson. Oh
favorite
my God.
people, Trent Richardson, who helped me out only 1 year, and that was the only year I ever needed him, was that rookie year.
You know what? But looking at the top 10, only one or two people are really, really well. Yeah, one or two people are only really, really doing well. Luke Kuechly, clearly, um, and Ryan Tannehill's doing okay. So
I
I mean,
mean,
that draft is
what about Mark Barron though?
not at his drafted position at safety. He was terrible. They moved him to linebacker, and he's doing better. But obviously,
I
that
mean,
pick right there,
from the Buccaneers.
if we would have switched and took Luke Kuechly like I wanted, I would have loved to have Luke Kuechly, and we would have been perfect with Luke Kuechly, and we would have been a top five defense with Luke Kuechly.
Absolutely.
I promise. But moving on, speaking of not succeeding, some players in the NFL are not having any fun playing the game.
Where's the fun?
What do you think about the 2 weeks in a row, the tantrums thrown by Odell Beckham Jr.?
Well, first of all, Odell Beckham Jr. gets the Ples of the day.
Ples, Ples,
So we're gonna sing
Ples.
the Ples song for those out there that don't know, and it
Three,
goes like this:
2, 1.
Ples, Ples,
Ples,
Ples,
Ples,
Ples,
Ples, Ples,
Ples, Ples, Ples, Ples, Ples, Ples, Ples, Ples, Ples, Ples.
Ples, Ples.
You
He
know,
gets.
it talks a lot about the maturity or lack thereof of him because he's a heck of a talent.
He is.
You know, he knows how to go up there. He knows how to get the ball. He knows how to score. You know, he runs really good routes.
He's
You know,
fast. Like, he's a really good
there's
player.
not even just the fact that he's fast too, but he's able to, you know, get it up in traffic, make tough catches. You know, people keep talking about the catch, but he made a lot of other spectacular catches that he done so far in his early on in his career.
And I think
But
people have to get over that catch.
and that's something that a lot of Giants fans
They have to get
don't
over
want
that
to
catch.
hear. And I understand that there's maybe some Giants fans on who might get a text message afterwards, and Professor Gotti
Uh-oh.
might have to go to his room.
No.
But
You have to digress on that.
I'm gonna have to digress on that.
He has.
But
I mean, but to be
Odell
honest with you,
Beckham, he just needs to understand.
I mean, when they,
Football
listen,
is fun when you're doing great.
yeah,
But you
losing is
become
not fun.
great when you're doing bad, and you do as much as you can to get back up that ladder.
But the problem is,
you don't go up the top of the ladder and stay up there, and you're expected to stay like that the rest of your career. Every single
I
great
agree.
had a slumping point.
I
You know,
agree.
every
I
single
mean,
great had an adversity that they had to overcome.
but I mean, based on what I'm showing here, it's like
Doctor got the stats, ladies and
no, I know stats,
gentlemen.
but only thing I know is that they spent a lot of money this offseason
They did on
on the
defense.
defense.
Yes,
Offense is supposed to be set. They actually did spend some money on offense. They went out and got a running back.
they did.
You know, they shored up. They made sure everybody was comfortable. Victor Cruz came back.
To sidebar real quick. The Giants have a 1-2-3 punch.
They have a good receiver. They have a number 3 receiver who's been playing pretty well. They have some great players.
Sterling Shepard, yeah,
But 24-10
is
is
not
unacceptable.
acceptable in any
is
case.
unacceptable.
In any
So
case,
my thing is, Odell Beckham has to play the game. You can't say, "Hey, this guy." You can't get shut down.
no.
Xavier Rhodes is not the best corner in the league.
Xavier Rhodes, in the lack of a better word, he's no Richard Sherman. He's no Darrell Revis.
And that's just naming people who have done well. You know what I mean? Like, he's not a great receiver that should shut you down.
I'll say it like this. Here's my eloquent phrasings.
Mm-hmm.
Xavier Rhodes is making Morris Claiborne look like an all-pro corner.
Morris Claiborne did get an interception this weekend. He played pretty well out there. I will give him credit.
But what I'm saying is, if you take the two, and you're saying, well, Xavier Rhodes was able to pretty much shut down Odell Beckham.
Yeah, and that's pretty sad.
That's why I say that. Like,
Play like prime time out there. That's ridiculous.
ooh.
Oh, God.
Oh my gosh.
But speaking of playing like prime time,
Okay.
the Patriots got shut out this week by the Buffalo Bills.
They did.
And just in time, how ironic, right in time for Tommy Brady to come back and destroy the entire league for 50 touchdowns.
You know, I don't like using this phrase a lot. Okay, I'm lying. I like to use this phrase a lot, and I said this before during a particular time in the NBA playoffs, but I feel like the fix was in.
Uh-oh, not the fix.
The fix was in, and here's why.
They were playing great.
They were playing great. They came into that game 3-0.
Yeah,
Going to their third string quarterback, and that third game, that very quarterback from NC State, shout out to the Wolfpack,
Oh.
the glamour and the flair and the coup de grace
Okay.
made it sound like that guy might end up replacing Tom Brady.
Well, I knew
Or Jimmy Garoppolo was going to replace Tom Brady.
I knew nobody was replacing Tom Brady.
Now
I told
I
you.
know, and you know, Chico.
I told you that.
No one's going to replace Tom Brady
Garoppolo
until he
has
retires.
yeah, they have another couple years. Brady is going to be there. There would have to be a miracle because Brady at this point in his career is better than what Drew Bledsoe was at that time of his career. It was more games. It was due to injury. So, I mean, it's like just a lot of things that you'd have to take into consideration. And, I mean, Garoppolo played great football. Brissett, great football. But if we're going to sit here and say, without a shadow of a doubt, that those two guys, maybe if they combined their powers and made a quarterback,
Captain Planet,
they would be able to replace Tommy Brady.
I mean, that argument by itself should stop with the fact that people are even amusing the fact that Tom Brady may be replaced. Now, in Dallas, on the other hand, that's an entirely different story.
Yeah, that is a completely different story because.
But we won't get into that one tonight.
Yeah, that's a completely different story.
Because we're gonna need our local inside man with the Cowboys, J5, to come back on to do that.
J5 plus.
But that might be 3 months from now. Who knows?
And that's J5 plus. But now we're moving on to a little bit of an NBA preseason action where I actually ran across here. I'm a Rockets fan, so I'm gonna go start here. But On Sunday, the Rockets actually went to Yao's house to, actually brought in the people from Yao's house from
Mm-hmm.
Shanghai, Yao's team, to play the Rockets at home. And that's where Jimmer Fredette happens to be. And I don't know if you saw the stat line, but Jimmer returned to glory. 33 points, 8 rebounds, 8 assists. I
Well,
mean,
is it
what?
returning the former glory, or is it finally getting the opportunity to be on the court?
I mean, how stupid does a team have to feel that they could have had that type of production? I mean, we knew coming out of college that he was a monster, but
We gave him all the hype in the world. And that was before Debates Among Friends was even a wink in the
it,
eye.
it was, yeah, we weren't even debating yet. We weren't having any long conversations about anything at that time. But Jimmer was outstanding. Obviously, the Rockets still got the win. Shout out to Houston, James Harden, the new quote unquote Steve Nash.
Thank you
But
very
they
much for tuning in to Debates Among Friends
oh,
tonight.
tonight's song is. But we had some pretty good matchups. On Monday, the Grizzlies played the Magic, and speaking of the Grizzlies, we did learn today that our man, former Nick,
Yes.
Zach Randolph, will be
Zebo
coming off the
himself.
bench this year. Your thoughts on that, sir?
I mean, you mentioned Manu Ginobili doing the same thing, and it worked out for the Spurs. Um,
It did.
I don't remember if the head coach in Memphis right now was a Greg Popovich disciple or not.
Hmm.
We might need to get a fact check on that. But if he is, then I can see great things for it. But my first initial knee jerk reaction to it was they want to give this kid a chance. And if it works out, great. We got a solid person to come off the bench. He'll probably be the sixth man, and he'll help us with the second unit. If it doesn't work, we can always bring him back to the starting lineup, and he can still play, 60 games out of the season.
I mean, I'm okay with it. I think it's smart. It's only smart if the guy replacing him
Does
is going
well.
to be, yes, he's a quality player. And just to confirm, this isn't a Greg Pop disciple.
Okay.
He's never been under Greg Pop in any portion of his career. Just to put that out there. David Fizdale has not and is not a Greg Popovich disciple. So I
And
think this
he
might,
will never.
it
And the
had
doctor means ever.
it had to be something that he either seen coming in, um, or something he had been thinking about. The bench did struggle last year, and they did run Zebo ragged last year because he was the only person left. There were so many injuries. Marcus All got hurt. Mike Conley got hurt. So it was like he was the only guy left to really go out there and score, really. So, I mean, it's smart of him to try to save him for a little later. But I guess we're gonna have to wait and see exactly what happens if it turns out to be one of those Jordan Crawford things, because everybody knows Jordan Crawford can still be a starter in the
Absolutely.
NBA, crossing everyone out. But moving on to some other teams, we did get a chance to see the new Golden
Jordan
State.
Crawford. Wait, hold on. Jordan Crawford or Jamal Crawford?
You know what? I was looking at Jordan Crawford. I meant Jamal.
I
Uh,
was like, oh yeah, absolutely. Wait, what?
no, it literally Jordan Crawford just popped up on the screen. I think I said Jordan, but I definitely meant Jamal. I don't even know where Jordan Crawford is actually at this particular time. Um,
You know what? Mama Guy sent us a link, message on the Debates Among Friends fan page. She
uh-oh,
says, I am a Giants fan. I do agree.
uh-oh.
OBJ needs to keep his head in the game and
And I
not
think
act
that's,
like a 3-year-old. It's starting to get really boring now.
I got that a lot because I shared one of the posts on Facebook, and I was like so shocked that like two or three people shared it like 2 to 3 minutes afterwards, and like some people were like, "Oh, just quit already," and then other people was like, "Hey, look at your man," those cowboy fans.
Of
Hey, look
course.
at your boy, look at your boy.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Really quickly, because I know we got to keep talking about the NBA real quick. Let's just sidebar real
Yeah,
quick
sure.
because
It's Debate Amongst Friends. You can
The
sidebar
Cowboy
anytime you want.
Nation, they're very intriguing.
They are.
Like when they lose and they lose badly, we don't hear anything.
Can I give you an analogy?
By all means, this is Debates Among Friends, sir.
Cowboy fans are just like Cam Newton. If they win, they're wearing the towel. If they lose, they're wearing the towel. It just depends on what face they're making. Because that towel is the real MVP. And you know exactly what I'm saying. Cowboy fans will wear that towel, that cowboy towel. And if they win, they'll be smiling with that towel. If they lose, they'll be frowning with that towel. If Tony Romo goes down, they'll be frowning with the towel. That if Dez scores a touchdown, smiling with the towel.
Smiling with the towel.
For another show, I don't really think Dez is all that great. I think he's overhyped. For another show,
Doctor, the people are screaming in my ear right now. I don't think they like you saying that. You might need to take that back. Never mind that. This is Debates Among Friends. We are paid to be controversial.
I can do this all night long.
Because Professor John Gotti's also going to agree with the doctor and say, I believe Des Bryant is overhyped.
He is.
And is he, dare I say, overrated?
I think when you come from, that Oklahoma,
Arkansas,
yeah, those Georgia Techs, those Texas Techs, those schools that throw a lot, you kind of have to take it with a grain of salt. But I mean, I don't want to get too far into it. I know the Cowboy fans are out there and they're just gonna, get on us about it. But
my ear's bleeding right now because how much they're yelling at you right now.
Yeah, okay. But we were about to go into the Warriors. Got a first look at the Warriors, who absolutely tore into the Los Angeles Clippers last night, 120-75.
Well, first of all, are we really surprised about that?
No. Now, let me tell you.
I'm only saying that because the Clippers really didn't make any offseason moves.
They didn't. I picked up Draymond Green and Klay Thompson on my DraftKings because I did a little basketball. And on the flip side, I picked up DeAndre Jordan. So, DeAndre, he'll at least grab a few rebounds. He might not play a lot. He'll grab a few rebounds. DeAndre did nothing. Absolutely nothing. And I was like, well, I hope this isn't...
That's the second person who got in the big contract that did nothing.
Nothing.
In a game. Just like your boy Harrison Barnes couldn't buy a shot in Dallas.
I can't believe you're going to still hold on to him. You're going to still hold him to that? Give him a break. He's not the first scorer. He's not the second. He's not the third. At certain points, he's not even the fourth option. He could be the fifth option. I get it. He missed a few shots. He didn't show up game 4 through 7 or whatever. But give that man a break. Let him redeem himself. He got a big contract. He's coming out there to talent.
That's what I was talking about. I was talking about his first preseason game. He couldn't buy a basket.
Well, I mean, hey, it's new city, new baskets. Hey, give him a break. That's not your problem. I know. But hopefully the Dallas faithful will be very, very patient with it. Because there's a few people who struggled. I did see that Eric Bledsoe struggled. A few people struggled out there. I think Anderson from the Rockets, he struggled for his first game.
Right,
so, I mean, yeah, some people are just struggling out here. You got to give them a little leeway out there.
Just a little bit?
Give them a little break out there. Kit Kat bar, bro. Kit Kat bar.
Break me off a piece of that. Wait, they're not paying us. We can't do that.
Okay,
Tonight, Debates Among Friends is brought to you by
Stella.
Artois. Get it at your local grocery store. It's a great drink.
Yeah, absolutely. Stella.
Speaking of the Houston Rockets, I know you want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it, but we're gonna have to. I'll suck it up. But my Knicks got a shellacking last night.
I'm disagreeing with you.
Even though it's the preseason, and I don't really care about that, it's just the fact that when I seen the score finally, like a lot of the points that they started to get to close that gap was in garbage time.
Well,
so for me, that doesn't really count.
When you think about it, like you said off the podcast, because we talk all the time here. We always talking, man. We got to make it happen. And I said it. James, it looks like our starters played a lot of the game because we're working in a new system. But the Knicks are doing the exact same thing I think the only difference is obviously, Derrick Rose, you want to bring him on slowly. Melo, you already know what he can do. You really want to see some of these other guys. Now, I was pretty impressed with some of the younger guys that were coming in. Obviously, we wanted to see, Brandon Jennings come out of there. You wanted to see Justin Holiday and see some of these guys that are going to make up the bench here.
Justin
Which
Holiday shot an air ball last night. It
even
wasn't. It wasn't
oh
on that pissant
my god,
level, and you know who I'm talking about.
I
Aaron
know, but
Flalo.
even still, you had to
But
be
once again,
pretty
it's only the
happy.
first game. That's why, just like
Yeah,
you said before, give them a little bit of leeway. But
give
once
them a
again,
little
I
bit,
don't
man.
care about the preseason.
I mean, the one thing that I would say was, pretty alarming, and it's the one thing that I'm pretty happy with my team, was the fact that we rebounded yesterday. Like we really, really rebounded. I didn't really see too many rebounds from our centers. That would be something I would like to see step up because Dwight did all of our rebounding last year.
He
So
did.
now you're seeing it as a team where the team is rebounding. So I'm looking to see that. But the Knicks just need to,
Patience.
yeah, you got the Knicks fans got to be patient out there because you got to keep Joakim Noah didn't play. It wasn't like, hey,
And
we're
you know what the funniest part is? People keep thinking that a lot of Knicks fans are not patient about it. Like, we're patient about it. It's the media that makes it sound like that we're not patient.
I can agree to disagree. I would have loved to see Ron Baker more, by the way. I didn't JP
You,
Tokoto.
you, you already know how I feel about that.
Yeah, I mean, but you guys got a lot of people just looking at the list here. It's a lot of people,
Mm-hmm.
you guys have, and I think you guys are going to be pretty good. You're definitely going back to the playoffs. It's just a
Playoffs?
don't
Playoffs?
talk about
Don't talk about no
playoffs.
playoffs. I just want to win
I,
the first game. I want us to shock the basketball nation by ruining the championship homecoming for the Cleveland Cavaliers. And after we defeat the Cavaliers, your boy John Gotti will be heading out and watching the Knicks home game against the Grizzlies and watch them go 2-0, and that's the way I want us to start this year.
and I can agree with that. I think you guys got a good team, solid team that could really, really beat the Cleveland Cavaliers. It just depends on how you guys play, of course.
Absolutely.
But I think that I mean, based on everything we saw here, the one thing that was surprising to me was the 76ers got a win without their prize rookie who just went down with injury.
This is true, but they also got Joel Embiid to finally play.
Oh my God, can we give him a slow clap here? Oh my goodness.
And yes, we saw for them on purpose, ladies and gentlemen.
Joel Embiid finally got a chance to play some basketball. Get a basketball in his hand.
Someone get a
He should be a
basketball in
monster.
his hand.
He should be a
Joel
monster.
Embiid plays.
He should be a monster by now.
He
Like,
should be.
he should be healthy. He should be feeling great.
Mm-hmm.
He should be able to shoot from anywhere on the court at this point. He should
Jimmer
be
range?
no.
Okay, you said anywhere from the court.
Okay, maybe Jimmer range.
Okay.
He should be doing everything. I mean, he's done nothing but shoot around. I mean, yeah, I need him to really be out there doing it. But I know we have some other topics to go over. There's a new potential acquisition in wrestling. We could jump right into this. I found it to be interesting.
Yes, let's just call it this Band-Aid. It looks like a rebranding is going to be happening with TNA, which is
Right.
supposed to be the second biggest wrestling promotion in America, but it's not.
Quote unquote, yeah.
But in this rebranding, they're also going to be selling their video archive library to the WWE.
Now you had qualms about this.
And I did. Well, and I had reasons why they did it, and I mentioned it off the
Tell the people
podcast.
why. Tell the people why.
They want to know.
They want to know it.
I'll let them know. Hey, you want me to tell you what I told the doctor? I told the doctor that WWE, they keep picking up these TNA guys, and they have no clips for them because they wrestled in Japan as well too, and they have nothing to show for it. All they can do is talk about it. But the people out there, the WWE universe, I sound like The Rock right now. Ugh. The WWE universe, they want to see clips. They need to see clips. So the best way to get it is to buy out their video library.
I mean, It's so funny because when the reports first released a couple of weeks ago, maybe a month and a half, 2 months ago,
Mm-hmm.
that Dixie Carter was looking to sell TNA, that she needed to sell TNA because
Actually, that was like for 3 years, but
I mean, what a sinking ship! And it's so funny to watch and look at the No DQ wrestling forum on Facebook.
shout outs to No
There's
DQ.
so many people talking, "Oh, TNA is so much
Yes,
better
the
than the
TNA Soldier
WWE."
Army. Yes.
Oh my goodness, they love themselves some TNA. I mean, I shouldn't say it like that,
Honestly,
but
I'll probably say about 45% of them are true TNA fans. The rest of them are all trolls.
it's so funny because here we are. TNA is going to sell their video library to WWE. Vince gets another small victory for the the wrestling monopoly.
Absolutely.
I really think this is good
For
for
business?
TNA. I think this is good because, like I said earlier, I really and truly believe that this is an opportunity for TNA not only to rebrand, but an opportunity for them to shed that negative mantra of a poor
Wrestling company.
wrestling company.
Absolutely. And you also mentioned this too off the podcast. It also opened up the doors to do a merger,
Yes.
not with WWE,
Oh
but with
my
Ring of
God.
Honor.
How perfect would that be? Because Ring of Honor it has a great following. They just don't have the TV.
Ring of Honor is on TV,
It is, but they don't have
but
the
it's not
TV.
on prime
They don't have
time.
that means they don't have the TV, bro.
No. The problem is they're not on prime time.
That's not TV. If they're on
That's
prime time, they're not on TV.
See, we can
If
say
you're
the
not
same thing about
first,
WCW, but they still not around either.
WCW had a chance. That's the only reason they had a chance is because they were on prime time. They
Well,
had a chance.
that and plus they took the risk, but then afterwards they just let the good old boys, took control of it. Then it became a sinking ship.
But see, that's what happened with TNA. They tried to recreate everything. They brought Hogan and they brought Nash and they brought Eric Bischoff in. I think I seen Vince Russo.
Surprisingly, that actually worked
It did
because
long
they
ago.
wasn't putting all the focuses on the old guys. They was giving the young guys a chance, like your favorite wrestler in the whole wide world, AJ Styles.
And that's our show, ladies and gentlemen. We have a good artist on this evening, and everybody knows that I don't like the unphenomenal AJ Styles and his terrible haircut and that stupid style stash. What an idiot! What an idiot!
Thank you
But
very much, Chris Jericho, for tuning in for us tonight. We thank you very much for joining with
yes.
us.
I mean, what a terrible, terrible person. But I can go on and on and on about how much I dislike AJ Styles. But I just think it's a win-win for everybody. If TNA can somehow convince, or maybe Billy Corgan, the person who's actually purchasing TNA,
The
if he
person
can
who's actually
somehow,
financing TNA.
yeah, he's getting TNA.
No. He's financing them. He's
No,
already
no,
financing them.
he's about to get the whole thing. He's buying it
Yeah,
from
yeah,
Dixie Carter.
I know.
He's getting
I'm
it.
saying he's already financing them, and then he's going to just fully acquire it. That's
But
what I'm saying.
I wouldn't
The,
be surprised if he
the,
just jumps on and resells it or try to do a merger.
I'm okay with that because we need to introduce a little bit of anarchy, as the Joker liked to say.
I mean, I really just think that another big company like WCW, it was when they rebranded. Eric Bischoff came in and he changed all these things. It really worked, and when they did this quote unquote injecting it with poison of the NWO, it really, really made sense to go ahead and really push the envelope, which
Absolutely.
made WWE push the envelope. And now we have, unfortunately, this PC crap, but we couldn't get that before because they really had to do something crazy.
Absolutely. I completely agree.
So, I mean, I'm hoping that that's what happens, and I'm hoping that they do something different. Maybe more people from WWE will start leaving. Hopefully, TNA handles this completely different, and they do something completely different. They don't give us the same old crap because we don't want to see that.
No. Although, speaking of TNA and same old craps, let's talk about something that's new and blue and broken.
Uh-oh.
WWE has now shown interest in reacquiring Matt and Jeff Hardy, aka Broken Matt and Brother Nero.
It would just be. Would we just see another Dudley Boys? A year of feuds, no titles, no nothing,
Yeah,
no.
their run was pretty much just terrible. It was
Yeah,
ridiculous,
like would
actually.
we? Is that what we would see? Like, I feel
Basically.
like that's what we would see. Although Jeff wants to finish his career with a match against the Undertaker, apparently, and we always talk about how Bray Wyatt and Matt Hardy have been going at it on Twitter.
But Undertaker's, like Shane McMahon said, Undertaker's career died already. Like,
It,
it
it,
doesn't really matter anymore.
I don't know what Jeff Hardy would bring out of Undertaker.
But the reason why they want to bring them over, not to get off subject, because
Mm.
we're about to start running out of time soon. But the
Sure.
reason why they want to bring him over is because the Broken Matt Brother Nero gimmick has gotten so over in a company that's dying, but it's gotten so over. And what I told the doctor off the cast is, if they was to bring him over, the first thing they're going to do is hype up a Broken Matt versus Bray Wyatt at WrestleMania.
But let's think about this, what you just said, though. I mean, let's say you were walking outside and you walk past a dying bush. All right? There's a bush, a dying bush. And all of a sudden you looked and there was one super bloomed red rose, fully healthy, and you were like, "Hey, I'm gonna go pick that up because it's nice. I'm gonna watch out, making sure I don't stick myself with any thorns, of course, which the
Hilarious.
WWE is doing, making sure they don't get hit with any thorns. But why wouldn't you pick up that rose from that dying bush called TNA and bring them over to your house where WWE lives? You know what I mean? And you get Brother Nero as a consolation prize. The
You want me to
extreme
tell you
Jeff
why?
Hardy.
I can tell you why. It's because WWE are now picking up people who are way past their prime.
They're bloomed.
No.
They're
You just
they've
you
bloomed.
you just mentioned it, and we can check the tapes because you was mentioning about how all these great indie talents or people from other promotions who came to the WWE that you enjoy, and then you look at their age and you're like,
I hate it. I hate it. I want you to know that. I really, really do. I
because
hate it
with
really bad.
that it increases the chances of them getting injured because we've seen that happen.
Well, at this point, there's really the only way for it to work, and I'm telling you, the only way for this to work, to save the industry, TNA,
Mm-hmm.
Billy Corgan has to
Billy Corgan.
call the owner of Ring of Honor and say, "Hey, you tired of losing your guys? Yeah, I'm tired of losing my guys. I'm tired of losing our guys. Why don't we pull our resources together? Let's make a new era of wrestling here. Then they can start bringing people over from New Japan Pro Wrestling
Yep.
because those people don't want to go to WWE. People like Ricochet, they don't want to go to WWE.
Kenny
So
Omega.
exactly, they don't want to go. They would love to
And Kenny
go.
Omega is one of the most over wrestlers in the business right now.
So I mean, those people don't want to go to WWE. Jay Lethal doesn't. I mean, clearly, if he did, he would have probably been there already. His contracts should be up by now, or it's about to end. But there's no
But
rumors.
the issue wasn't even that. The issue was if they was to go like if they was like at their just hitting their prime and they was to went to WWE, they would have been a waste of talent. And we
I
talked
agree.
about this time and time and time again.
Well, when you look back, I mean, I remember when WWE was bringing in talent. I remember when they first brought in Chris Jericho and he didn't work. And then he went back to WCW, continued to work on his talent. And then he came back the second time and he was amazing. I mean, I could see if they were doing that, but there's no WCW to go to. There's just TNA, Ring of Honor, and New Japan Wrestling. So, I mean, there's nowhere to really to go where you're getting that nationally televised audience besides TNA. Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, what can we do here? I mean, that's the only thing we could do. But, I mean, quick recap. I mean, just to get off of TNA, I mean, we had a women's title match. That was pretty sweet.
Not only a women's title match, but we also had a title change.
We did have a title change, but can we talk about that corkscrew moonsault?
So, one thing that the Doctor and John Gotti, the professor, enjoys watching is innovative offense in wrestling.
Yes.
We enjoy it very much. In fact, we always try to identify if a move is better as a signature move, a regular move, or a finisher.
Mm-hmm.
That corkscrew moonsault that Charlotte Flair did on Monday.
Very unexpected. I was expecting a regular moonsault.
Everyone was expecting it. Yours truly.
Yeah.
I thought so. The doctor thought so.
Yeah.
You thought so too, fatso. We all thought that she was gonna just do a regular moonsault. She's done it so many times. Nope. She looked back. She got her feet set, and when she jumped, she did a corkscrew, and it hit Sasha Banks.
It's pretty good.
I jumped up in the air. I ran around. I texted the doctor. I said, "Did you see that? Holy shit!"
As I was texting you, like corkscrew.
Twitter was blowing up. Facebook was blowing up. Everyone's seen this move. It was like we've never seen a woman do that in WWE.
Never.
Outside of it, absolutely, I've seen it.
I've seen several corkscrews from several different people, different genders. I feel like everybody else was doing it besides, and I'm not even sure if she would have got clearance to do that. They must have really trusted her wholeheartedly to do this, because she could have really died out there.
She could have really died out there, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? In a world of this PC that we deal with, it's like she's so lucky she was allowed to do this.
It's about time they're #giving divas a chance.
Now I will say, after she lost the belt,
I ain't gonna lie, that saved that show.
It did. I ain't gonna lie. After she won the belt, I was sitting there. After she lost the belt, I was sitting there and I was watching her cry, and she did a really good job trying to sell the whole heel thing, saying, "Oh, that's my belt. That's supposed to be mine." But
You'll
we
never
know
beat me for this, yeah.
She was really crying because she was so happy to be in this match. No, she was so happy to be in this match with Sasha Banks. It's the same way her and Bayley were crying. It's the same exact thing. They just didn't hug afterwards.
Well, I mean, they don't want to break kayfabe like that at all.
But remember, they did that they did that
They
in
did
NXT.
that at NXT, but that's NXT versus the main roster.
Hey, you just never know when they're going to break kayfabe. You never know.
You know what? They'll do it at WrestleMania. Mark my words.
I can see that.
I got reads.
But
let's talk about the last thing, because we're running low on time. Let's talk about the last thing that happened so far this week, and we're talking about SmackDown. The storyline-wise superior show to Raw. And the Doctor's favorite wrestler,
oh my God,
dropped a little bit of a pipe bomb along with Dean Ambrose on the guy who used to sort of kind of still runs the place, I guess, John Cena.
He does.
And they went in. What's your thoughts on that, Doctor?
First and foremost, he's nowhere near my favorite wrestler. He's so close to the bottom. I would so just
but the song says you start from the bottom, now you're here.
I would so rather see the 1, 2, 3 kid come out and wrestle and do the X Factor and the Bronco Buster than to see even that kick in the corner where he does the spinning heel kick. I'd rather see him do that than to see AJ Styles out there. But I'm glad they didn't let John Cena talk, and I'm really hoping, because we have another conversation which we're gonna have in the future about John Cena's title runs.
Yes.
But John Cena does do the same thing every time. He really, really knows how to control the crowd. 5 moves of death. Yeah, he really knows how to control the crowd. He really knows how to do this. I'm not really looking forward to this match because I feel like it's going to be a lot of people just laying around because they're so limited offensively. You know, AJ will jump off the ropes a few times. We're going to see a five knuckle shuffle. Duffels, and a duffel bag. We're going to see Dean do that thing where he gets hit and he grabs the rope and he comes back in and does a clothesline. We're going to see each of their finishers.
At least 3 times.
The one finisher that I don't want to see
The Styles Clash for the 1, 2, 3.
Styles
I'm
Clash
calling
for
it.
the 1,
I'm
2, 3.
calling it. That's how he's gonna win it. Because when we both said that AJ Styles gonna win the match.
I think John Cena's gonna win it. Actually, I think he might pull it off. Or I think John Cena might pull it off, and then they do something stupid like he loses it the next day or something stupid like that. I just don't know. I can't. John Cena never loses to anyone twice, and that's the part that
He lost to AJ twice.
He cheated the first time.
So
No,
it's just like J. Fox says.
No way.
A dub is a dub.
Go there. No way. No way. He's not. If he does, he's not pinning John Cena. He's definitely going to pin
Dean Ambrose, which is a shame.
It is a shame
because he's always the fall guy.
He has to be the fall guy.
He's the Xavier Woods of the main event scene of SmackDown, if that's the case.
And I mean, I've never liked him, but I mean,
shout out to Xavier Woods, by the way. Don't hurt me.
PhD. That's right. I just don't know. I don't see him pinning John Cena. He better not win with a Superstars Clash. And
John Cena's not going to tap.
He's definitely not going to tap.
Once again, John Cena's going to lay his shoulders down on the mat, and he's going to get called for the 1, 2, 3.
Disagreeing with you. As long as there's no low blow and then a win, I think we'll be good. But I guess that's where J5's W thing comes in.
But that's how. Oh goodness, and that's how. But isn't it how AJ won the title though?
Exactly, but we hated that. We hated that.
Like it was a terrible finish.
We hated that.
Oh my goodness.
We really hated that. We both sat there and said, "Oh God, that was so terrible! I can't believe he just won. Not only with the low blow, but with the Styles Clash. Oh my God, he won with the Styles Clash. I'm never watching wrestling for the rest of the year or something."
Oh my goodness.
You know how it is.
But we have No Mercy happening this Sunday.
Oh yeah.
There's only 2 matches I really care about, and that's the aforementioned match that we just talked about.
Of course.
And Dolph Ziggler versus The Miz.
That should be a good one. That should definitely be a good one.
And we have about 3 minutes left, so let's talk about that.
Dolph Ziggler's in a formal, traditional I will retire match. I haven't really seen one of these
in a long time.
Was it Flair? Or was it Shawn Michaels?
I think it was Shawn Michaels.
Shawn Michaels.
Remember, Ric Flair was forced to retire.
But remember, the whole super kick. So sorry.
I know. Yeah. But remember, Ric Flair was told by Vince if he loses again, then he's done with wrestling.
Which was good, even though he went to 10A and wrestled again, but that's okay. A good old... now, will we say the end of the Miz's title run? Like, what's more important, Dolph Ziggler or the Miz's title run?
Don't be surprised if Dolph Ziggler might be doing his final bout in WWE.
You think is his contract coming up? Or?
I think so. Someone talked about him possibly trying to reenact the CM Punk thing from 2011, where he got in the title and his contract was up, and then he left.
Yeah.
But I don't want to beat a dead horse, but King Ross says, "New era, same old
bleep."
We can't say it out in here.
We can't say that.
We can't at all. But
I don't want to see that though.
Honestly, I just want to see the match. I just want to see, because they have told a great story these past 2 matches they had.
Yeah.
So I'm looking to see, this will end this feud.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm waiting to see how that happened. We're not going to get a Sheamus versus Cesaro thing.
Yeah, we don't want
Thank goodness.
We don't want that. But I guess I wouldn't be surprised if Dolph took his talents elsewhere.
Absolutely. But we are running out of time, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to leave you tonight with a song by Adrian Young and Ali Shaheed Muhammad called Bulletproof Love from the Netflix premiered show Luke Cage. Catch it out on Netflix. They're not paying us as well too, but they should.
Pay us, please.
But thank you very much for tuning us with us tonight on this Wednesday evening. Catch us again next week as we talk more about sports. I am Professor John Gotti.
And I am the doctor.
And we'll catch you again soon. Thank you very much. Peace and love.
Yo, no sway, man. I can't even describe it, man. The situation was crazy, bruh. If I was a gorilla, I would say it was bananas, B. Well, the man he just took over the whole situation, Doc. Listen. Man, it is what it is. Can't understand a man if you ain't live what he lived. Coaches in the crib and got no food up in the fridge. Plus the crime running rampant and it's screwing up the kids.